Hello and welcome to Late Night Legends. We're in the year of 1977. Elizabeth II celebrated 25 years as monarch. The Likud party, led by Menachem Begin, won office in Israel. Military coups in Pakistan and the Seychelles. The outer solar system asteroids known as centaurs were discovered. US President Jimmy Carter pardoned Vietnam draft dodgers. Steve Biko died in police custody in South Africa. Anti-drugs campaigner Donald Mackay disappeared near Griffith in New South Wales, and the Granville Railway disaster occurred in Sydney. On TV, colour came to Italy. Everyone watched Roots. Debuts from Fantasy Island, Lou Grant and the Love Boat. Homicide solved its last case, and the Crawford baton was passed on to Cop Shop. It was the year of the restless years, Young Ramsay and the Naked Vicar. Best of all, Graham Kennedy returned with Blankety Blanks and won another doorstopper. On the various tracks, Janet Guthrie was the first female qualifier at the Indy 500, while Golden Black gave trainer Bart Cummings his 6th Melbourne Cup. The Socceroos failed to emulate the team of 74 by making the World Cup, cruising through the early rounds, only to fail at the end. Sydney City won the inaugural NSL title. There was no international rugby for Australia. In Sydney and Brisbane comps, Parramatta and Wests won their maiden flags, and Rugby League had 2 grand finals, the Dragons being ultimately successful. In the VFL, it was North and Collingwood. The Shinboners had lifted their first trophy 2 years previously, but the Maggies had been without success for a couple of decades, as we joined the commentary team at the MCG.
Tremendously high standard game. It was a very tight game, and you could see a lot of those shots went astray, both sides, and we're thankful after that third quarter to be able to get back and have another chance.
Yeah. It was unreal sort of finish, but did things go to plan really throughout the day?
No. In fact, we had the number of players we had down, I personally couldn't believe it. But we did, and I suppose Collingwood could say the same. I don't know. I don't look at their side as much as Tom would, and vice versa, but we had a lot of players down.
You seem to be able to extract some players that produce their very best in certain games for you. You haven't had the same fellows in the final series doing the job for you. Today you found Xavier Tanner.
Oh, no, Xavier. Oh, heck, I wouldn't. Xavier's been a good player for us. Oh, no, he's no news.
Okay, right. Ron, what about next week? Any injuries that you know of?
Oh, I think we've got a few sore spots. I'm not sure whether they're going to be injuries that are going to cause us any worries, but no, I think... it'll be okay.
Right, I know that you probably hadn't thought about going through another training session for next week, but have you any other ideas of how you're going to get yourself through next week?
Well, we'll take it easy, just sharpen up and try and keep ourselves as loose and as lucid as possible.
Yeah. You look very drained, Ron.
Well, I wouldn't like to go through this every day. Once a week's enough, or once a lifetime.
Well, I've never seen you so subdued after a game of life, but no doubt we'll see the bubbling Ron Barrassi next week.
Well, a bit of bubbling might help.
What were you thinking when Ross Dunn had that mark in front of goal, and he's about 20 yards out? What thoughts were going through your mind, if you can recall them?
Oh, I thought he would kick the goal, I can assure you of that, but I think I quickly looked at the scoreboard to find out that it was going to be level and wondering how long that we had to still win the match. And I suppose to the players' credit that when we were 7 points down and the scoreboard or the time clock had gone as late as what it had, our fellas never gave in, and I suppose we had as much of the ball in the time on period as what we had for the previous, say, 25 minutes of that particular quarter.
Len Thompson, a great game for you today.
Yes, he played very well.
And it looks at the moment as though you may have lost Doug Gott with that leg injury. Will Ian Cooper be ready to come back?
Oh, that's a possibility once again, Doug. But see, these things are too quick. The game's just finished. Ian, we tried to get him up this week and he wasn't available, so we'll have to see how he shapes up over the next week. But he would be the natural replacement for Doug if he is available.
Does he mean a lot to your back line?
Cooper, he's had a very good year. I think he adds a hell of a lot of strength to our side. It was most disappointing to lose him when we did. I'll be certainly hoping that he will be available next week.
You had a sort of a mismatch in height and strength with Phil Manasseh and Arnold Bridus. I imagine that's one situation that you'd be looking at between now and next Saturday.
Yes, we have to. But Philip has played very well since he first came into the side, even against opponents as tall as Arnold Bridus. It might have been just one of those days for Phillip. We'll just have to think about that. But he is given away 4 or 5 inches in height, which is a hell of a lot. But he's been a good player, and I suppose we're just not going to say drop him on one performance.
Tom, what would you have planned for the players this week? Anything special, or just the normal thing?
Doug,
just to keep them
those
going?
questions that you're asking, we haven't had any planning so far, of course, because as you can see, the grand final should have been won or lost right now. So they're only quick ideas what we've got. We've got training tomorrow morning for a start to keep the players realising that we've still got a grand final to win. But I do feel that it's do us a lot of good, this match. You know, like now looking ahead for the following week, because of the very fact that we've had one match in the 4 weeks, and this might have been one of the reasons why we finished up being a little bit leg weary in the last quarter. So that part of it's to our advantage, and if Ian Cooper can come up, well, the extra week's okay.
A week later, North Melbourne triumphed by 31 points, setting a record by winning 5 consecutive finals matches. For Collingwood, it was their 5th grand final defeat since 1958.